Hey guys, we're going to do our annual preview of the Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot.
Favorite time of the year.
Favorite time of the year. Brian's even got his shirt on.
This is from 2015. I guess I need to get a new shirt.
Yeah, I guess you do. And I should have worn my magic band. I've got a Flower and Garden magic band, but it's our favorite festival at Epcot. Yeah. So just in case you have not been to the festival or don't know about it, it's a festival in the spring at Epcot. It usually starts the first week of March and runs through May. I don't know the exact end date, but I think it ends usually right around or before Memorial Day. And it's similar to the Food and Wine Festival in that they have a lot of food booths, although not as many as the Food and Wine Festival, but still plenty. And then they also have beautiful flowers, beautiful topiaries, topiaries of all the characters around.
I mean, the whole World Showcase is just lit up with flowers, bright colors.
And usually every year they have a butterfly tent that you can go in with a lot of butterflies. And then finally they have in the festival center, they have different gardening and seminars and merchandise for sale. And I did want to mention during Food and Wine, it's open all week, but during Flower and Garden, unless they change it this year, it's only open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Yeah. And they close at like 5 p.m. on Sunday because we actually missed it our first weekend last year. So it's definitely a limited time frame for the festival center. So do you want to talk about what's changed in the statistics for this year?
So let's talk about number of booths. So Food and Wine last year for the 35th anniversary, they topped at 35 booths.
That was a lot. That was the most ever, I think.
So to compare, Flower and Garden is 15 booths. So
big difference.
It's a huge difference, but we feel like
the food quality is better.
15 booths is just fine. You're not going to miss the other 20, really. I mean, it feels nice. So food-wise, for gluten-free items, there's still 7 gluten-free items as of the menu.
And that's what there was last year.
3 are new compared to last year, meaning there's 3 new offerings that replaced
3
ones
old
last year.
offerings.
So you knew a couple that got replaced.
There were
right?
2 I was so sad to see gone. The mojo pork is no longer, and that was really tasty. And also one of my very favorites that I've even made at home, I liked it so much, was the watermelon salad.
Yeah.
And those are both gone. I'm not sure what the third item was because nothing jumped out at me as missing.
Right.
But and also it looks like they added at least one new dessert, and I hate trading an entree for dessert. That's just me. I'd rather have the entree. So
I could see that. So the new booth is what's it called? The Honey Bistro. B-E as in B as in bee sting.
Honey bee.
Bistro. See what they did? See what they did there? So that replaced Urban Eats, and Urban Eats
had the watermelon salad.
It also had the crabless crab cake, which was really good. That's a bummer. But so this year, roughly 22 new beverages replaced, 22 beverages from last year. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
About 21 new food items that replaced
That's
food
last
items
year.
from last year.
So they're really mixing it up this year.
It is quite different. There's still, but all the booths still have the usual ones, but they replaced like 1 or 2.
Right. And so what we thought we would do, also I should mention this, if you're used to Food and Wine, there's also, not only are there less booths, there's also a lot less people, which is part of the reason we enjoy this festival. It's a lot more relaxed.
Even on the weekend. It will pick up, of course, on the weekend, but not too crazy.
Well, we noticed opening weekend's pretty busy because, it makes sense, it's opening weekend, so all the locals come out to check it out. It's pretty busy, but otherwise the lines aren't too bad for the booths.
Yeah.
So we thought last year I think we listed every food item and every drink item, which took a really long time. So I think this year we're going to just cover the food items, and Brian's going to highlight a few of the new drink items, but not recover the ones that are. Although, do you want to mention your favorite that went away?
The Feast of Flowers beer is that's been a staple at every.
Well,
festival,
it was made
just
for originally it was made just for the festival.
I was so shocked that it wasn't listed. Maybe that's a mistake.
It was the Feast of Flowers Farmhouse Ale. That was your favorite. Yeah. Wow. And he got that every year, multiple times every year. Yes. So he's sad about that. So do you want to start reading the berry basket?
The first booth is the berry basket. There's no new food items here. So lamb chop with quinoa salad, filled greens with fresh strawberries, and a warm wild berry buckle with pepperberry gelato.
I assume that's a dessert. A buckle?
Yeah.
It's literally spelled like the buckle on your belt.
And there is one new beverage there, which is a beer. It's by J Dubs Brewing Company, which is a blueberry IPA. That sounds interesting. So it's not a cider, so it's an IPA with blueberries in it.
Yep. So on to the next one, we have Northern Bloom. This was one of my favorites from last year and is gluten-free. The seared scallops with French green beans and potatoes. That was really tasty. You had that too last year.
I guess I got it without the bacon.
You did. You got it without the bacon. And a little note, we noticed the bacon, whatever sauce the bacon is very greasy, and so yours actually kind of looked better without the, I mean, bacon's amazing, but it wasn't as oily, so yours kind of looked fresher. Then there's the beef tenderloin tips with a mushroom sauce, and the griddled maple pound cake with warm peach compote is a new item this year.
So that's a sweet. It's the beverages, the same beverages, so they get the Uni Brew beers there.
And what was funny is, so Brian loves Le Fin de Monde, which is Uni Brew, but you actually said you even like the Le Fin better than this Flight, which is kind of interesting. But
so next up is La Isla Fresca?
Isla.
I
believe it's Isla.
Okay.
You'll probably correct both of us.
Jamaican braised beef with pigeon pea rice, sugar cane shrimp skewer with steamed rice and coconut lime sauce, Caribbean conch salad with mango, papaya, and pickled red onions.
You had that last year.
I like that too, I think.
It looked really good.
And then a new item, which is another dessert. It's interesting because the last booth was a dessert. Is a tropical mousse cake, layers of passion fruit cake, coconut mousse, and tropical fruit glaze with fresh pineapple.
See, I'm not big on desserts, but if that was gluten-free, which it's not, I would get that. That actually does sound good.
And they do have a new beverage there, which is another beer by Golden Road Brewing, Tart Mango Cart Wheat Ale. So it's Tart Mango Cart Wheat Ale. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful. So on to the Cider House.
Cider House.
All right, so the food is, they don't have new food this year. It's the pear cider brine, shredded corned beef with braised cabbage, house-made potato and cheddar cheese biscuit with smoked salmon, which Brian has had.
I enjoy that. A lot of people don't like it, but I do like it. Yeah.
I think what turns people off is the way it looks.
It does look kind of
like cat
unappetizing.
food. Yeah, people say it looks like cat food, but he's had it multiple times and liked it. And then the freshly baked lemon scone with cream fresh and mixed berries. And I've had that multiple times. Even though I'm not a dessert person, it is really good. It's not too sweet, and that is gluten-free. They make it with cup-for-cup flour, or at least they have in previous years.
And they do have new ciders there, which is a relief because I really don't like the ciders they had there previous years. The new ones are the Florida Beer Company, I don't know how you pronounce that,
Pineapple Tropical Hard Cider.
And then the Cider Boys, Grand Mimosa Apple Orange Hard Cider. That sounds kind of good.
Mm-hmm. Those do sound good. And so, do you want to do the next one?
Yeah, so this is the new booth that replaced Urban Eats. Sad for the crabless crab cake and your sad.
And my watermelon salad.
The Honey Bistro, hosted by National Honey Board. That's interesting. So the actual Honey Board put this on.
Sponsored by. That's basically what that is.
So of course these are all new items. Everything here is new. And it actually sounds pretty good. Roasted cauliflower with buckwheat honey, carrot puree, wild rice pilaf, asparagus, honey blistered grapes, and sunflower brittle. That's all one dish. I mean, that's a lot in one dish.
And that's gluten-free and vegetarian.
That sounds really good. Honey tandoori chicken flatbread with white cheddar cheese, charred vegetables, clover, honey sour cream, and micro watercress. Sounds good. Local wildflower honey mascarpone cheesecake with orange blossom honey ice cream garnished with fennel pollen. I don't know how you say that.
Doesn't matter. Meringue.
Yeah.
Meringue kisses.
It's a meringue kisses. Okay. I really want the first one, the roasted cauliflower, because that sounds really good.
And I can eat that one.
Asparagus too.
That's one that's gluten free. I'd rather have the watermelon salad there.
So beverages looks like we got some
all
wines.
The same. Or this is a new booth, so they're not the same.
Yeah, they're all new. That's another thing I noticed is for your beverages with this festival, it's not as many wines as the food and wine.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
it's more
ciders.
Cider. I mean, there are some wines because we're not reading everything. We're not reading the returning, so there's definitely wines here. But there are more ciders, beers, and other drinks that are just like cocktails or whatever.
Yeah, so they have a orange blossom honey wine here. They also have an orange blossom pilsner, and then looks like maybe a frozen drink, honey honey peach cobbler freeze with blueberry vodka.
That's interesting. And they have a non-alcoholic version of that drink as well. Same drink, just non-alcoholic. So on to the pineapple promenade.
Yep.
All right, the food this is returning again. Spicy hot dog with pineapple chutney and plantain chips. Pineapple soft serve, and basically that's Dole Whip, essentially.
It's like, I wonder why they just don't call it Dole Whip.
Is that it? They only have 2 items?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know why they don't call it Dole Whip either, because it is. It's Dole Whip.
And it looks like 3 new beers. I think they're all beers.
Oh, let me add a thing about the Dole Whip, sorry. I did see on one website, and we haven't confirmed this because the festival hasn't started, but they did say they'll be offering the Dole Whip with the rum option, which they always do during Flower and Garden, and that's usually at the refreshment outpost.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know if it will be this year, but that's what I read, that they will have that again. So back to Brian.
So quickly, 3 new beers. A Coco Pina Goss or Goose? Goss? I don't know.
Where are you at?
Right there.
Oh, that one. Okay.
And then Going Coastal IPA. That's a common one by Sweetwater Brewing Company, which all their beers are pretty good. And then looks like a local one by the Playa Linda Brewing Company. It's a Violet Lemonade Ale.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it looks like, I think, one flight here maybe. Yeah, there is a pineapple beer flight here.
So actually, I'm going to correct what I said before. The pineapple with the rum is actually at this booth. So it's right there. It's listed on the chart. So correct what I just said a few minutes ago. The next booth is Jardin de Fiestas, which is basically the Mexican kiosk.
Well, this is the permanent one, right?
It is now. It's not supposed to be permanent, but it's there year round. It really is.
It's kind of interesting how they're the only country that can get away with that. Like, why don't the other countries do a permanent booth too?
You know what I'll be curious to see is if it stays up year round now that they have the margarita stand open again. I was wondering if it was a temporary.
That's right,
the outdoor margarita stand was taken down when they expanded Norway with the frozen elements. And now they just opened their new outdoor margarita stand on the left side of the Mexico Pavilion.
Crazy bonkers busy every time we go by.
But they have a better queue now. They actually have a zigzag queue, so there's more room for people to stand. Before, it would just make a huge line out in the middle, of the walkway. So it's a better design. But
that's a pro tip. If you want to hit that, you got to
go early. Go early.
Which I'm not even sure what time they open. I don't even know.
11 when the pavilion, when the World Showcase opens. All right, so back to the semi-permanent stand that we don't know if it will be permanent. For Flower and Garden, they have the pork taco, slow braised pork taco served with apple relish goat cheese. And they have, I don't know how to say that word. You're talking about pronunciation.
Chilaquiles?
I'm sure we're saying that wrong. Sorry about that. Served with chorizo, Mexican cream, and cheese. And I don't know how to say that either. Basically, bread pudding is the dessert.
Tortilla.
And everything I just read is new this year. And I wanted to mention, when we say it's new, it means they didn't have it last year. It doesn't mean they've never had it. Because we recognize some of these things from way back, but it means they didn't have it last year. And then they list all the beverages as new, but this is a perfect example. I know for a fact the Rosa Margarita was there 2 years ago.
You liked that one, right?
I loved it. It was so good. And they also have a Tiger Lily Sangria, a Violet Cassis Punch, and a Daisy Spicy Beer.
I'm curious what the last two. The punch sounds interesting, because it's a punch. Mm-hmm. And spicy beer, I don't know, because we'll get to it, because America's isn't here with their typical spicy beers, and those were immediate tosses for me last year, so of course I'll probably try this.
Of course you will.
And then toss it.
I'll be having the Rosa Margarita while he does it, and I'll be enjoying mine. It's really good, and it's so good. They actually brought it back at New Year's. When we were there last year, remember they had that little pop-up New Year's
That was funny, because it was a little
We were there over the Christmas holiday, and they actually brought that Rosa Margarita back, and I said, yay, you have it, and they said it's because it's so popular, so they know people like it. So you're going to do the next one?
Yeah, so the Lotus House, looks like we have some new items here. 2 new food items. The spicy, this is kind of interesting, spicy meatballs with crispy tofu.
It was an interesting combination, because that's not vegetarian.
Right, so I don't know what they're doing there, whatever. I mean, I would love a tofu dish.
Well, maybe it's a traditional Japanese dish.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would just love a tofu dish, but unfortunately I put some spicy meatballs in there. And then fried chicken dumplings fried chicken dumplings with peanut sauce. I mean, that sounds like a good dish. And then the vegetable spring rolls,
which is returning.
And you can also get that. They sell that year round at the other booth. I forget.
They do.
Yeah, they're permanent booth. But I actually tend to buy them there because I don't know. I feel like I got to get something at the booth. They're tasty.
Well, and it's probably maybe fresher. I shouldn't say probably fresher, but maybe fresher.
Now I know we're going to mention only new beverages, but I will mention Kung Fu Punch does make a return here, of course, because everyone likes the Kung Fu Punch. The new beverage is a Beijo Punch, which is Chinese Beiju spirit, lychee, coconut, and pineapple juice. That
actually sounds good.
That might be
I need to look up what that is, though. I need to make sure that's gluten free.
The liquor.
Baijiu spirit that we're probably pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah.
But the Kung Fu Punch is amazing, and I get it every year, so I'll definitely be getting that. It's really good. So on to is that Bauernmarkt?
Yeah, Bauernmarkt.
This is basically in Germany. It's potato pancakes with house-made applesauce, potato pancake with caramelized ham, onions, and herb sour cream, toasted pretzel bread topped with Black Forest ham and melted Gruyere cheese, and that's new.
I would love to have that. I wonder if they can do that without the ham.
You can always ask.
I'd walk up and see how it's prepared.
Right, we've had pretty good luck. As long as they assemble it after you order,
pieces,
they don't seem to mind at all leaving something off.
Yeah.
So if you're a vegetarian, that's a good thing to keep in mind. And then warm cheese strudel with mixed berries.
Yeah, see, my fear with that one is the ham is mixed in with the melted cheese. I don't know, we'll find out.
I don't know, I guess we will find out.
So there is a new beer here, which is good, because I really don't like, which is odd, the beers that they tend to have at this booth in previous years. So the new beer is a Hefeweizen. It's a Younger Brau from Munich, Germany.
We apologize to everyone in Germany.
Yeah. And they, of course, have a beer flight there.
On to, you want to read the Primavera Kitchen?
Primavera Kitchen. Looks like we've got all new food items. That's interesting. Because I know in the past we really weren't too pleased with this.
No, so it's nice they've shaken this up a bit.
And they got a gluten-free offering here, which they've never had, I don't think, before.
I think they used to have and it's still there. I know it says new, but that's been there in the past at least.
Okay.
It may be slightly modified. They have a dessert here that's gluten-free, but the food item is definitely new, the entree.
So the first food item, these are all new foods. Frittata di asparagus, which is basically asparagus frittata. I wonder, so that would have...
And that's vegetarian and gluten-free.
So would that have egg in it then? Frittata?
Yes, I would assume. Okay. Frittata's always got egg.
Okay. The next one, I'm just going to skip the Italian things and just do the descriptions. Crispy shrimps. I like how they say shrimps.
It has an S on it.
Crispy shrimps with zucchini.
Maybe they want you to know it has more than one.
Zucchini and spicy sauces. Now, that sounds very interesting to me. I'm going to definitely try that. And then this next one, too. Maine lobster ravioli with vodka sauce. That sounds really good.
That does sound good.
And then the dessert item, the panna cotta al melone, which is cantaloupe.
And I think that's the difference. Before it was some other kind of panna cotta, but they've had panna cotta that's gluten-free. And that is gluten-free and vegetarian, that last item.
So no new beverages here, but if you want to get your wine on, definitely come here, because they have the wines
here. A long list of wines, yes. I mean, like a long list. Multiples. So the next one is the Smokehouse Barbecue and Brews. This is near the America Pavilion. And this is mostly the same with one new food item and one new drink item. So it's the pulled pig slider with coleslaw, which is, sometimes people say it's great, and then other people say it's dry. I think it's one of those where it depends on when you get it and whether it's been sitting under the heat lamp. Beef brisket burnt ends and smoked pork belly slider with garlic, sausage, chorizo, cheddar fondue, and house-made pickle. That's the new item, but I want to say they used to serve that, only just not as a slider. Almost exactly the same items, but not as a slider and not with the pork belly. It was like the burnt ends with the cheese fondue. And that you could get that made gluten-free by leaving the cheese fondue. Now that it's a slider, it's probably off the menu for me because, you
could ask for without the bun, right?
No bun, no cheese. You'd have to, because the fondue has gluten. At least the last time I checked it did.
Okay.
Beef. Oh, here it is. They still have the old one. Beef brisket burn-ins with white cheddar fondue and pickled jalapenos. That's the old one. So I guess they decided to stick that on a bun and call it a different entree.
Burnt-in dishes, right? Dishes. Yeah, I guess it was popular last year.
Well, and that's a really good dish, and I've had it without the white cheddar fondue because, like I said, that has gluten in it. They use flour to thicken it. But if you had it with the fondue, it's probably amazing. I think that would be really good. And then warm chocolate cake with bourbon salted caramel sauce and spiced pecans.
So this is the location with the spicy beer. But they do have a new beer here, which is by Central 28 Brewing Company. It's kind of hard to see where the brewing company ends and the name of the beer starts.
Sunshine Greetings Orange Hibiscus Wheat Ale.
It's like, how many words can we use or to
name a beer? Yep.
But they do have this, this was an immediate toss for me last year, the same Phantasma Spicy Double IPA. Wow, that was disgusting.
Yikes. Oh, and you don't do the bacon stout.
I didn't try the bacon stout for obvious reasons because I'm a vegetarian, and they have the beer flight here.
In case you're wondering, since he mentioned he's going to eat seafood, he's actually a pescatarian. He does eat seafood, but no other meat, in case you're new to our channel.
And for the beer flights, I will mention you can substitute.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Okay, yeah, they'll do that.
Yep. And I would say, as long as you ask nicely, they're very accommodating anything they can possibly do because they've left meat off of things for him. I've asked them questions about things. Could they be made gluten-free? And that beef brisket's a good example. It's not listed as gluten-free, but I found out it's only the fondue that has...
After all, they want to make money, right?
Well, of course. But, I mean, the cast members are great, though, about helping you if they can.
So, next booth is Hanami. We got one new food item here, which is gluten-free. This is nice. So, making returns from last year is the frushi, which is just fruit, like sushi.
And that's not listed as gluten-free, but Sarah from Gluten Free, Dairy Free, and I'll put a link to her in the show notes because she'll probably review some of these when she gets to them. She actually did ask 1 year, but you should always recheck each year, and that was actually gluten-free. It just wasn't marked, and I don't know why it's not. Yeah. But it makes sense because it's all fruit and rice. I mean, that's basically all it is. I didn't love it, but,
And then they have a ginger beef yaki udon, and then the new item, which is gluten-free, which sounds good. Teriyaki salmon with
I have no idea.
Furikake?
Just skip over that.
Seasoned brown rice. So basically, teriyaki salmon on rice.
Yes, and it sounds really good. Yeah, it really does.
2 new drinks here. Pineapple Momo Sake Cocktail. Sounds really good. And a Kara Super Dry Sake.
Yep, that sounds really good too. On to Taste of Marrakesh. Yeah. So this is over near Morocco. The food is 2 new items and 1 returning. The first new item is harissa chicken kebab with dried fruit couscous salad. The second item is fried cauliflower with capers, garlic, parsley, and chili ranch sauce.
That sounds really good. I'm definitely going to get that.
And the last one is walnut honey baklava, which that's a returning item. And what's unusual is none of these are listed as gluten-free, but none of them sound like they should have gluten. So this goes back to one of those where I may ask and find out whether they're gluten-free or not.
Yeah.
Then beverages, there's nothing new here.
Nothing new here. So let's go up to Florida Fresh. No new food items here. They have the carne guisada with black bean cake and cilantro lime sour cream. A spicy blackened shrimp with stone ground cheddar cheese grits with brown gravy. This is kind of interesting. So
this is interesting because I'm almost positive in past years, and I'll have to go back and look at our videos, but didn't that used to be gluten-free and not have brown gravy?
Well, some of these items are very similar to last year, so this might be one of those examples where they changed one
small thing, but it's because that sounds almost identical except for the brown gravy, and my guess is it's the brown gravy making it not gluten-free. So I'll probably ask about that one because in previous years it was gluten-free.
Yeah. So for me, of course, I'm wondering, is it brown gravy meat-based? Probably
it could be. I can ask that when I ask about the gluten.
And then the key lime tart with toasted meringue. Let's see, 2 new beverages here. They got the Big Top Brewing Company, a Conch Republic key lime wheat. Sounds interesting. I'll probably try that. And then First Magnitude Brewing Company, a Monarch milk stout.
Next booth is Fleur de Lys, that is in France, and I'm not even going to attempt the French pronunciations for these.
Just read the ingredients.
I'm just going to read what they are. Provincial tomato tart with sautéed onions, fresh thyme, rosemary on a flaky pastry crust, and that's vegetarian.
So is that the usual onion tart I get?
It sounds like, no, I think they've modified it. It's called a tomato tart this year, and last year it was definitely called an onion tart.
So, but it's similar,
But it's interesting they didn't list it as new. So,
Well, it goes back to...
They've just changed like one ingredient.
And that was me listing stuff as new, not really the website.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like they changed out one. I think they changed out the tomato.
So it's sort of new.
Onion, yeah.
Similar but new.
So I'm looking forward to that.
The next one is braised duck confit with Parisian gnocchi, and that is new. I will say they've had duck confit in the past, but they've never had the gnocchi with it, to my knowledge, at least since we've been going. And then the last one is also new, macaron au chocolat with, it's a lollipop. That's interesting. So I guess it's almost like those cake pops. That's interesting.
So you can try that. That's gluten-free.
Maybe. You know I'm not a big sweet...
macaron.
Well, a cake pop's small, so you can try that. It's a macaron, not a macaroon.
Macaron.
No, macaron.
Tomato,
they're totally different.
They're
totally different desserts. Usually both gluten-free, but totally different. So there's only one new drink. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's from Village de France.
So again, if you're looking for your wines, come over here.
Come to France. France and Italy are really the big wine places.
So lastly, it's not really a booth per se, but all the Joffrey
multi-booths.
Yeah, all the Joffrey carts, which there's 4 of them, right?
So these are the Joffrey's coffee carts, and there's 3 in World Showcase and 1 over near Test Track.
Yeah, you're right.
Sort of between Test Track and the Festival Center.
They're kind of off the beaten path, too.
That one is, for sure.
Yeah.
The other ones aren't too far
off.
You're
right, they're on.
One's near American Pavilion, one's between Canada and the UK, and one is right near the front. Like, when you first go into World Showcase, go slightly left, and it's right there.
Yeah. So these, typically during the regular season, or the regular park season, they have their own little specialty cocktails, but for the festival they replace those and got some new ones.
Yep. And this year looks pretty exciting. We were talking about these off camera, and we think either all of these are new or most of these are new, because
they sound interesting.
I've tried some of theirs in the past and I don't remember any of these, so I'm pretty excited about these. So this is at the Showcase coffee cart. It's orange blossom twist with frozen orange pineapple topped with vodka. That sounds good.
I mean, even without the liquor, they sound tasty,
Well, and they should be able to make most of these without the liquor if you would just like it without alcohol.
Because they're not pre-made.
They actually mix the liquor in after you order. And that's another tip. You can actually order a double if you so desire. You can specify you want a double instead of a single. Disney Traders Port of Entry, so that's that one right at the front of World Showcase. That one has the Garden of Guava. It's frozen pink guava topped with rum or vodka. That sounds good. And that's another reason you can pick the liquor, because it's not made ahead of time. Future World East, the final lap. Iced tea topped with frozen passion fruit with vodka. Also sounds good. So that's the Test Track location. And then the American Adventure, strawberry pina colada, frozen pina colada, and strawberry with rum. Also sounds good. I mean, these are some of the best sounding of the beverages, so I'll probably be stopping at the Joffrey.
I think this is probably the best value, too, because
it is a good value.
Like we say, they're not pre-mixed, you see,
they actually measure the shot out.
So, if you go to Mexico and get one of those pre-made frozen margaritas, they come out of a slush machine and they don't add anything to it, whereas these, they actually add the liquor.
Well, even at that Jardin de Fiestas, that Rosa Margarita is already made. The thing I will say is in past years, those have been strong, you could tell, but some of the other booze, not so much. So I think the Jardin de Fiestas is a pretty good value, and these Joffrey's carts are a good value.
Well, we tried to make this video short, but I can already tell this has gone pretty long.
That's why we didn't read every beverage, because it would really be like an hour-long video.
It's just 15 booths, so...
Yeah, but we're excited. We actually love
looking forward to it because the weather is usually awesome. It's not hot, it's nice and warm, or it could be cool.
It's pleasant at least. You're not miserably cold, and you're also not sweltering. Well, at least when we go, we tend to go towards the earlier end. If you went in May, you could be pretty hot. It just depends. And the flowers are gorgeous. Yes. I just love it. So I'm really excited about it. So I hope this has gotten you excited about it. If you have any questions, we'll do our best to answer. But since there's so many new items this year, we can't even say a lot. So what are you most excited about getting this year?
Well, I kind of mentioned throughout the video, I can't remember all the food items I said. All the new ones I want to try that were...
Yeah, I'll definitely try. I would most likely say I'll try most of the gluten-free items because there's only 7. But the other thing I did mention, I am going to ask at some of the booths if some of the other items can be made gluten-free.
Yeah, modify the slider, leave the bun off, that kind of stuff.
In the past, I've had really good luck with that. So we'll see what we end up with, and we'll, of course, do a review after we come back from the festival. So we hope you've enjoyed this. As always, we appreciate subscribes, likes, shares, and comments. Until our next adventure.